welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry. This is Finish It Friday. We get to see what I've gotten done this week and what you have gotten done. So thanks for dropping by. This will be like a little quilt show if you've not been here before, and we'll just look at a lot of different things and have fun together. First of all, the things that I have gotten done this week consist of Pat Sloan's Block Wednesday. This is block number 7 that came out this week. And this is called Ode to Our National Parks. And each of the blocks has a name as well, but I never can remember those names. And I'm using Folk and Lore from Moda. Loving this fabric. We have 2 more blocks to go. Actually, this one's supposed to be more up here and then here and here. So you'll see more about how that comes together soon, because I really need to start working on my sashing between that. We can do that now. Let me go ahead and take these ones down, and then I'll come right back and we'll talk about the Jolly Bar book sampler. So while I'm doing that, watch this. This is Autumn Square Dance, and it's about a 60-inch square. Couldn't find my pattern. It's in there somewhere. I couldn't find it online either, but it is from Connecting Threads. If you search on Autumn Square Dance under patterns, it will probably come up. I used Primitive Gatherings fabric with the name Rustic Gatherings, and I used the putty colored Confetti Solids by Riley Blake, which is one of my favorites. Just a really nice buttery creamy cream background. And I got this bound this week, and I put a black binding around it, but it has a print to it, so it doesn't come off real stark. And I quilted this up in Autumn Joy is the name of the quilting pattern that I use, and I will get a little bit closer so you can see that. It's just kind of a leafy, swirly thing. It's been folded up. There's some fold lines in it. Alright. And then the back, I just used leftover fabric. I had this print here. This little tiny print. And then on each end, I put this. I have that at the other side too. I think I mean for this to be the other way around, but it's a square, so it doesn't really matter. So there is Autumn Square Dance, all finished. All right, here it is. That's row 2. We did row 2 on Wednesday. I'm sure some of you are still working on it, but a lot of you just jumped right in and got yours done. This is called Providence in the Volume 2 book of the Jolly Bar book. And yeah, I think it looks really good with my first row, don't you think? Next week's row will be smaller than these, but we'll have more like we did here. 2, 4, 6. I'm not sure. I think it's either 6 or 7 next week, but they're smaller blocks, but they're very easy, and it will complement our other 2 rows really well, I think. So I'm using K Facet, kind of a lighter version of some of his prints, a lot of black and white in there. I did not use any black and white exclusively in these blocks like I did these, but some of these black and whites will probably show up in some of the other blocks, some of the other rows coming up. So that is our second row. If you want to join in on the sew along, you can jump in anytime. I did have a little bit of a change on this as far as in the description box. I think the video is correct, but I did correct in the description box. I had said 9-inch blocks. These are 10-inch squares right here. The book, if you looked in the book for the measurement, you'll see it there. So that is coming along very well. I have decided, I did get a lot of photo submissions this week, so I'm going to leave the ones that you've sent of this until after next Wednesday's video. So I'll make the tutorial video, and then we will have a little show of your first 2 rows after that video at the end. So look for those there. So I'm sorry if you thought you were going to see your rows up today, but it just happened that I got so many in of regular submissions that I decided to separate those out and put those on the end of Wednesday. So you will see them soon. The other thing that I did, though, is I didn't get the berry wreath done completely into a quilt top, but I did get all of my blocks done. So I have all of my blocks. There's 11 blocks, and then there's 2 half blocks. So this block goes on the bottom of the center column, and then the other half of it goes at the top. So I have to cut a bunch of sashing. I was going to hurry and do that today, but the key word being hurry, I just knew that I would cut a whole bunch of fabric up wrong. So I decided, no, I'm not going to hurry and do that and try to get that done. I will do that today. So I'll do that today or sometime this weekend at least. I feel pretty confident that I will have it done over the weekend if things go as planned. You just never know. I've had some things this week that I've had to take care of outside of sewing that, I'm really surprised I got accomplished what I did with that going on as well. But I did, so I'm okay with me not getting this top completely put together. So now let's go on into your finishes for this week in the Lessons Learnt email inbox. Let me get down here where they first started. I think the first one I got in was from last Friday after the video, and this is from Robin. She says, I just thought I'd share my finish for this week. I had a heap of cutoffs from a quilt along I participated in earlier in the year. I've been sewing little hourglass blocks as leaders and enders. I trimmed them to 2-inch square and made some cute Ohio star blocks 5 inches unfinished. I then dove into my neutral and solid stash and made friendship star blocks. This quilt will go to Project Linus and hopefully make some child happy. Very nice, Robin. Good for you on using your scraps and cutoffs to come up with this beautiful quilt. And yes, some child will love all those bright rainbow colors that are in there. Looks very nice. That will be very much appreciated. Good job. The next one is from Cheryl. And she had sent this last week, and I missed talking about it, so I asked her to send it again. And this is her spools wall hanging made with scraps, and she quilted it in a wavy design there. Looks good. And it's hung above her pressing station. It was fun to make. And Cheryl is from Canada. I love that. I love your spools. That's a very good pattern for using leftovers and scraps. So that's a very nice addition to the pressing area of your sewing room. Awesome. We have Sun Painted Carol. She has one of her lovely designs here. She says, the flying geese quilt is made from my sun painted fabrics. The flying geese became easier to make by the time I finished approximately 200 blocks. Wow, that's a bunch. I watched a video by Leah Louise on YouTube to make this quilt. I sun painted twice this past summer, so I have enough fabrics to last me to next summer and then some. Oh, good. Glad to hear you're still doing that. It measures 72 by 88 inches and is quilted with an all-over loop-de-loop pattern. It is also going to be a donation quilt. Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I love it. As always. This one is from Regina. She says, what's a mama to do when she has a granddaughter that is turning 5 and wants a new quilt but can't decide it being a fox quilt or a dinosaur quilt? I made it 2-sided. She was thrilled. And also Gina says, I am a new subscriber and enjoy your channel. I was born in Indiana but now live in Ohio, so guess that makes us Hoosier buddies. Why, sure it does. So here's the first side with the foxes, which are adorable. And then the other side with dinosaurs, completely different. But she can show whichever side she wants to show, whatever mood she's in. A foxy mood or a dinosaur mood. So that's brilliant. Very good. Carol, this is a different Carol. She says, I found your channel and binge watched while going through my knee replacement recovery in June. I love your show. Now it makes my morning to watch 3 weekly shows. Thank you, Carol, for faithfully watching. She says, these are the first pictures I've sent in to finish it Friday. This is a cutting mat bag. It has lots of pouches for rulers. I can also get my Sew Steady table in there to take to retreats. The bag is from scraps. It holds this little Lazy Susan from the Dollar Tree. I pack my notions in this for my retreats. The purple and gray quilt is for comfort quilt competition. We were to draw 2 crayons and make a quilt to match. I'm the president of our guild in Ohio. We usually collect and give to 3 organizations in our community. Usually we get 170 to 180 quilts. I believe this year we'll get over 200. Keep doing what you're doing, Carol. Yes, I love your bags. And that's neat how you made a little drawstring bag to drop your Lazy Susan down into. So you just pop that bag open and there's your notions ready to go at the retreat, right? And I love your quilt down here in it looks like purple and lavender. Very pretty. It might be gray. No, you said purple and gray. That's beautiful. I love it. I like that pattern. All right. Susan. Susan said, I started this quilt on Make a Jelly Roll Day on September 20th. Life got in the way and I finished it yesterday. That was actually yesterday. Wednesday or Tuesday. Better late than never. I plan to back it with fleece. The quilt is a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. It's called Verticals. And it finishes at 62 by 77, although she made her smaller at 55 by 71. She lives in Southern California, and we seldom need quilts to keep warm, so she says my quilts usually hang folded on the back of my living room chair. Yes, that's part of your decor, isn't it? Like many quilters, I'm glad it's done, and I don't need to see it again till later when I put the backing on it. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of that habit, Susan. Hopefully for 2025, that's going to be something I'm going to be working on. Carla has 2 tops here. She says, I was finally able to complete 2 different quilt tops. The trip around the world for my teenage son who was getting a room makeover. He loves all things cat, and it was perfect timing to make him a new quilt. This large quilt measures 80 by 100. And it was my first attempt at mitered borders to make the frame like is on the cat fabric. Cool. And then the other top is one my 7-year-old son has been working on with me. He's done about 50% of all the cutting, ironing, and sewing for this quilt. He picked all the fabrics from the stash, the block, and the design. This quilt measures about 60 by 72 and will be a perfect winter quilt once we get it quilted with Minky on the back. Now off to the quilter they go. And she says, thank you for showing these and encouraging us to keep working on those projects. Well, I'm just really impressed with your 7-year-old and his sense of design. I see a future quilter there. He did great with that. And your trip around the world is nice too. Kitty cat fabric. Karen. She says, I completed this quilt for my husband. His colors are black and gray. I had bought various fabrics with his quilt in mind, just couldn't decide what to make. My challenge this year was to make a carpenter star block. I didn't have a pattern, but was able to figure out the design. Since I had the other black and dark gray fabric that I didn't use, I decided to make this quilt reversible using 9-patch on the other side. I attempted a swirl design on my domestic machine, and I could kick myself for using light gray 30-weight fabric in the bobbin. It shows everything. Lesson learnt. At least it's for my husband. He didn't mind it, and he loves it. I was looking at your gray thread, and I rather like it. I don't know what it looks like in person, but it gives more texture to that back. And here we are again, a person who made, Karen here, who made a double-sided quilt. Very good, and you did great figuring out that carpenter star. Colleen has a finish, and this is her latest finish, and she's feeling very virtuous, as all fabric was from my stash. Good for you. Pattern is Penny Candy by Trisha Lynn Maloney for Villa Rosa Designs. There we go. Nice table runner in those summer colors. Great job, Colleen. Shelly has made more rope baskets. I love this yellow one here. And I believe this is one that she sent. It either is a new one or it's a repeat of the one she sent the other day. And I made the comment about the fabric. How did you get those little triangles in there? What fabric did you use? And she actually had a Harlequin black and white printed fabric that did that. And you see she has a purple and lavender one here too, where she's used that. That just works great. Beautiful baskets. And I'll see if I can include this fabric so you can see what I mean in the picture there. Hopefully that's in with the collage of pictures there for you. This one's from Janice, and she says, good morning. This is my design using Elizabeth Hartman's unicorn pattern and Kids Quilt Magazine bear pattern. This is a memory quilt in honor of my grandniece who passed with brain cancer at age 6. Her favorite things were unicorns and rainbows. Beautiful. Great job. Nice memories of your little niece. Yeah, you can take those Elizabeth Hartman critter patterns that she has and create your own design. And that's what Janice did here. This one is from Susan. A different Susan. Here's a quilt I finished and donated this week at Gleaning for the World, where I volunteer in their sewing room. The pattern is Happy Stripes by Quilty Love, 64 by 72 large throw size, and the fabrics are batiks donated by a local quilt shop called Threads Run Through It. I quilted it on my Baby Lock coronet with an edge-to-edge organic weave. That's the stitch I feel most comfortable with, and it's quick and easy. These aren't the colors I normally choose, but I wanted to make it bright and cheery, and I hope it makes someone happy. Thanks for all you do. I always look forward to watching your videos. I love your quilt too, and I like bright colors, but I don't make as many bright colored quilts as I probably should to show that. This one here is turning out pretty bright, but those batiks there are very, very bright and vibrant. I love it. And it looks like a fairly simple pattern. Yes, someone will really enjoy that quilt. Okay, that's what we have for this week. Thank you so much for sending in your wonderful finishes. They're all so beautiful. I love them. And it took all I could do to not show your rows of these as I was going through the emails here. But we will catch them on Wednesday, I promise. So we'll have plenty to see on the end of that video. So tune back in if you just like to watch quilt shows. Watch that tutorial. Hear me explaining how to do something. And then at the end, or you can just skip to the end and see those rows that everyone has gotten. They're turning out great. And go to the Facebook group too. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, it's just called Lessons Learnt, just like the channel name. Jump in there. There's no approval process or anything. Just jump in there and join and look at all the pictures that are coming through there. All right, we have a weekend of activity coming up, don't we? We're going to be sewing a little bit at least. I think I have a long arm meeting this week, so maybe I'll take my autumn harvest quilt in and show that. So I will look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for Monday Quilt Chat. In the meantime, get in your sewing room and do some sewing. Get out some ode projects and get those finished up so that you can show them right here on Finish It Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.